My fat twin, that's what I call him. Don't judge me. He loves Fat Albert. Loves Fat Albert. Got him the movie from SNL with Kenan Thompson. He fell in love with it, wanted to watch it every single day. His brothers hated it. Dad, we've seen this thing like 100 times. We don't want to watch it anymore. So I said, look, I'm gonna make a compromise. I'm gonna go and buy you all the old Fat Albert stuff so you have some stuff to watch and mix it up. It's like, okay, cool. So I went on Amazon and bought all the old Cosby Fat Alberts. I'm not sure how y'all feel about Cosby personally, but I will tell y'all this. If you're a Cosby fan, this is a great fucking time to get the DVDs. Y'all hear me? Because they are just giving this shit away. I got the whole series of The Cosby Show on Amazon for $12. I'm a Prime member. That means it's supposed to come in 2 days. That shit came the same night. Yo, I went upstairs, take a shower, came back downstairs with a dude in my living room, put it in the machine. I said, hey! He turned around. It was Bill Cosby. This is cool, man. It's so nice. He said, I see people that I went to high school with in here. I see people that gave birth to me in here. I see... Yo. That's my parents right there, y'all. Whoever got the camera, bring it right over here. Put it on them. That's all my family right there. I got cousins. I got my daddy. I got my mama. I don't know who the hell you are. I got my wife's mama. All love. This is so cool. My father doesn't come out much. He sit in the house. He do ignorant shit on Facebook. Just ignorant shit, like log off, motherfucker, log off. Putting all these little dumbass dancing emojis under stuff. Like, what are you doing? If you over 60, you should be banned from damn Facebook. Ain't no need for you. Their profile picture always look like somebody snuck up on them. Anytime I see Warren Weems just made a post, I'm like, shit! My father actually scared me the other day. Called me at 6 in the morning, a couple weeks ago. I jump up. I see Mom and Pop on the phone. I jump up, and I'm like, shit, okay, what's going on? It's early. I grab the phone. I'm trying to get myself together. And I answer it, and it's my father on the other end. And I got freaked out because my father doesn't call me like my parents call me. But my mother's the liaison. Y'all know what I'm talking about. My father just screams shit in the background. Hey, Jason! When you gonna bring me my lawnmower, Jason? I don't even got his lawnmower. When you gonna bring it, Jason? I've been waiting. So he's on the other end of the phone, and I hear his voice, and I'm like, shit. My mind went to, I was like, my mother died. That's what I felt. It was literally that, I was 6 o'clock in the morning. My father don't call me normally. I hear his voice, I'm like, it's gotta be something crazy. First thing out of his mouth was, I need your help. And I was like, shit, he killed my mother. That motherfucker calling me for an alibi. Bring some towels and some ammonia by the house. Put me in a tough position. Man, it was 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm on the phone trying to choose between my dead mother and the parent I have left. And I'm like, all right, I'll be there in 20 minutes. We're gonna dump a body somewhere she loved. Come on, hurry up. Put her behind the Pottery Barn. Get on.
You know what the one good thing that this pandemic has done for all of us? It's gotten rid of Uber pools. Remember that dirty shit? Ugh. Clap your hands if you were ever in an Uber pool. Drag these peasants out of here. We don't need them here. Dirty motherfuckers. Shit is nasty, you know? You're on your way to Applebee's. You know how to get to Applebee's. And then he makes a left that don't make sense. Where are we going? Pick up Jessica? Who the fuck is Jessica? Where's she sitting? You know, and you pick up Jessica and you both look at each other like, oh, you both have $4. We're in this together now. It's real quiet back there, you know, nobody wants to talk. Yeah, you're just like, it's gonna be a quiet 12-minute drive. The thing they could have improved on is that they should have matched you with people that you could fight. Shit pops off, man. You don't know what's going on back there. Some crazy shit can happen in a Prius. Put me back there with Roseanne. I'll beat her ass, dog. Can't put me back there with these little ladies, you know? All tiny and shit. Like, I'm just good. They don't know anything about me. All they know is that I'm sitting next to this heavy-breathing guy who now knows where they live and work. Shit would never fly at Shark Tank.
I have an incredibly settled home life, right? And it's nice, but I wish it was more exciting sometimes. And the other day, I was talking to this comedian. She's much cooler than me, and she has a really cool dating life. And she said, oh, so I'm dating Jack and his girlfriend now. I'm in a throuple. Like she was getting a new kitchen. And for some reason, to keep up with the Joneses, I said, Connor and I are thinking of becoming a throuple. Went home that night, sitting in bed next to him. He's reading the latest interest rates on moneysavingexpert.com. And I said, Connor, do you think, can we maybe get a new boyfriend or girlfriend? He went, which one of your bohemian friends have you been talking to now? What do you want to be in a throuple for? I went, well, maybe then you'd have someone to go to park run with. Because I hate it. He went, Fern, I've told you, stop asking me deviant things. You have this idea of yourself in your head that you're a mad slag that loves shagging, when really you just like coming home to me, having dinner and cuddling. I went, okay. Can we get a cat? Can we get a cat and not fuck it? Just a pet cat. When people talk about compromising in a long-term relationship, that's the kind of thing they're talking about. You start off with high aspirations, throuple, 3 ways. It descends to a pet that you don't even want. I like dogs. Now we're getting a cat. Anyway, I thought I can't criticise Arlene Foster for being closeted and not say I've had a few women in my time myself. So I says I was bi properly, and this time I did it during a stand-up set on telly. And as I said it, I felt sick. I felt like really nervous about saying it, but everyone started clapping me for being a brave girl. They were very woke and progressive. And I was thinking, stop clapping me for being brave. Fuck off, man. It's only half gay, so it's only half brave. I was thinking everyone I went to school with is going to see this on telly and slag me off and say, she's just doing this because it's the easiest way of being a woke hipster. It's easier than becoming a vegan, and I'm a vegetarian, which is the bisexuality of diets. And that's how Mum and Dad found out, was they saw me talking about it on telly. Imagine that's how your mum finds out about all that, right? What all that is. That's me fingering an unbelievably tall lady. My mum phoned me up to ask me about it after the programme came out. And she asked me about it the way only a Scottish Catholic mother does, which is by not asking you for about 10 minutes of the phone call. There was just a series of disconnected facts. Hello, Fern. I made a carrot cake today. Then I went to Zumba. Then I picked sweet peas in the garden. And then there was this terrible pause, and I knew what was coming. She went, Fern, are you bisexual? Imagine if that was how Holly Willoughby asked Philip Schofield on the couch. The Scottish way, by screaming it in his face. I was like, yeah, Mum, and you told me it was disgusting the first time you found out. No, I didn't. How dare you? Anyway, I've changed since you were a teenager. Because I've seen the musical Kinky Boots. And that changed everything. Isn't that amazing that art can move people in profound ways? One of Broadway's shittest musicals, Kinky Boots, turned my mum from being a homophobe into someone who pretends not to be a homophobe. And I go out with women that are like my mum. They're always quite intense, they're always fucking mental, and I really judge men who say they're always going out with mental women. I think it's quite misogynistic. So can I just say at this point in the show, I met my first girlfriend in a mental hospital, so she was fucking mental. You know, diagnosed, we both were. It was a great match. Her name was Rita. She was a tiny little skinhead butch. We were both 16-year-olds in a mental hospital. You know how it goes in your teens. You read Sylvia Plath, you go in a mental hospital. Rita used to write me these love letters that would open with things like, who's the funniest girl in all of Willow Grove's Children and Adolescent Psychiatric Daycare Unit? It's Fern Brady. Who makes the best potato prints about her feelings in occupational therapy on Thursdays with Nurse Linda? That's right, this guy. And then there was a terrible drawing of some palm trees on a beach done in crayon, and it said, when I look into this lassie's eyes across group therapy with that bitch Nurse Fiona, I can see the sun setting on a beach. And it's all because of... That's right! What a cracking lover I am. So Rita had given me this wonderful necklace along with a letter. The necklace was a very classy necklace from the Elizabeth Duke at Argos range. Oh good, some scum get that reference. Posh people of Glasgow, Elizabeth Duke at Argos was a range of jewellery where working class people could express earnest emotions at a fantastic price. Rita gave me this necklace. It said something on it like, love lasts forever, which in Rita's voice I definitely heard as a threat. And my mum found the letter and the necklace when I was 16, and she went nuts at me. She was like, this is disgusting, this is vile. I was mortified, like, well, I guess this is how she finds out I've been fingering girls in a mental unit on my lunch break. I like how non-judgmental you guys are about that. You understand there's not much to do in women's psychiatric units. You learn to finger bang and you learn to play pool to an incredibly high standard. Then Mum stopped shouting at me and she went, Fern, what upsets me the most is I just cannot believe you would pretend to like other girls in order to steal their jewellery. Excuse me? Now, a few of you know what's going on at this point, right? There's a type of person who sees the whole world as straight and then they tell themselves any story to get to that conclusion. My mum's one of those. My mum would rather tell herself a story in which I am a jewellery thief running some sort of a heist. Not for good diamonds, not for Chopard or Cartier diamonds. Elizabeth Duke at Argos, £10 necklaces, fingering girls against my will. All as part of the grand jewellery thief heist in a mental hospital. But you see how it happens, because they had a thing when I was a kid called Section 28, where Margaret Thatcher said that you couldn't teach primary school kids that LGBT people exist. Not teach how to give blowies or how to lick fannies, just that they exist, right? I'm not saying this to try and be right on, but yet when they ban teaching things like that on the curriculum, I look back and think of the amount of utter bullshit that my teachers taught me at primary school. I went to a school where there was a crucifix on the wall of the assembly hall, there to there. Teacher told us that was the actual cross Jesus died on. Why is Jesus 1 foot tall? Why is his final resting place Scotland? I used to like to do this in class when I was 5. I was bored, right? Just move my head from side to side, something to do. Right? And my teacher said, you know, Fern, that's all well and good, but the brain is attached to the top of the skull and it gradually comes loose, and the more you do that, the more likely it is that your brain will collapse in your skull, killing you instantly. Teachers are maniacs. I had the best year of my primary school career not being taught the curriculum. When I was 8 years old, I had a teacher, Mr. Curran. Mr. Curran was drunk the entire school year. If you're a child, this doesn't register. You just think, why is this adult more fun than all the other adults? Didn't teach us anything, just came in every day, sat us on the carpet and told us stories about walking his 3-legged dog in the woods. Now one day, he sat us all down and he said, kids, while I was walking my 3-legged dog in the woods today, I found something very special. And he had a shoebox in his lap. No, he just went, oh God. I don't know what kind of school you went to. But this isn't the point in the story where he's like, it's my big willy! Now suck it, bitches. Get your mind out the gutter, because something beautiful's about to happen. He said, I found a little badger. I swear to God, he opened the shoebox and a badger come out. So beautiful. Greatest thing that had happened in my childhood at that point. Every day for a year, didn't do any arithmetic, didn't do any handwriting, just had this drunk guy stoating about with a badger in a box. One day, he said, listen kids, I'm going out of the classroom for a bit. You're 8, you can take care of yourselves. Well, I'm down the pub. Do not get Mr. Badger out his box. He's a wild animal. I'll get him out when I come back. I was a very good kid. I never broke the rules. However, I sat next to 2 very nasty boys, Lee and Kevin. They're definitely in prison now. And I said to them, I love having Mr. Badger in class. I think he's the best thing to happen to primary 4. Lee and Kevin turned to me and said, this is hard to say. They said, that's not a badger. That's a fucking puppet in a box, you fanny. Do you know in The Matrix, when Neo finds out reality isn't real? I felt my vision go black. The room starts spinning around me. I'm shaking my head uncontrollably. No, man. Reliving the past year of my life, looking in Mr. Badger's very real eyes. Hanging out with him every day. I said, guys, I'm 8. I'm not stupid. That's a real badger. I said, I'll go to the front of the class now. I wouldn't normally do this, but I'll go to the front of the class and I'll take him out of his box and I'll show you how he's real. They went, you're a fucking spoon. If this does go to America, there's no way of translating that. Went to the front of the class. I stood in front of the box. Took all my strength to open it and look inside. Looked down. 100% a glove puppet on a pile of dead leaves. The whole school knew except for me. If you think my comedy's dark and cynical, that is the moment all hope died in my life. And they still won't teach primary school kids that LGBT people are real. I spent a year talking to a badger that doesn't exist. A week after this, I overheard our art teacher, Miss Christie, telling one of the other teachers as if we couldn't hear, oh yes, they let go of Jim Curran last week. It turns out he was drinking heavily on the job. And those two boys from earlier just turned to me and went, hi, Fern, guess what? We saw him walking his dog in town. It's got 4 legs. Twist the knife in, why don't you? People in power just lie to you. I think people are getting more progressive on sexuality because I get a lot of younger people coming to my tour shows and they're so cool in terms of seeing sexuality as a spectrum, and I think it's great. And I says to my wee boyfriend, now people view it this way. Could you be anywhere else on the Kinsey scale of sexuality? And he answered really earnestly. He was like, I've thought about it, but I honestly don't think I want to suck a dick. I was like, Connor, no one likes to suck a dick. It's just a polite thing to do.
I grew up in a small town called Crossville. And when I tell people in Los Angeles where I live, like, hey, I'm from a small town in Tennessee, and they're always like, oh, like Chattanooga? I'm like, no. That's a city. They're like, no, it's kind of, I've been there, it's like a small town. No. No, that's a city. I don't even know how to explain to you what a small town is now. Okay, here's how small the town I'm from is. When I was in 5th grade, my older cousin went to a field party, got in a fight, and killed a dude. In high school, the dead dude's sister asked me to the prom. That's a small town. Not a lot of options. I had to decline her offer, though, because my father made a solid point when he went, I don't know about that. She might have forgot, but I don't think her daddy did. People in the South love that joke so much. They love it. People outside the South just get sad. People in the South are like, those are just 2 good daddies right there. That's all that is. You gotta play the hand dealt with you, man. That's what it is. I did that joke on the Conan O'Brien program a couple years ago, and I thought it was like a clever way to be like, hey, here's who I am and where I'm from, and a funny, I put it together, And America would be like, yeah. But no. All America wanted to know was like, tell me about that murder. Is there like a podcast I can listen to? 48 hours? First 48. ID channel? Forensic Files. My favorite murder. I was like, I think it's just a normal murder. I don't know. And they won't let it go. They just stand there looking at me like, well, tell me about that murder. I'm like, I wasn't there. I was in 5th grade. I think you had to be in 6th grade to get to that party. But I've realized, like, people want to hear about this thing. And I've also realized, like, it has shaped who I am as a human being, and it's probably why my sense of humor is kind of dark. So I'm going to talk about some messed up stuff here in a little bit in a very hysterical way. And that's how I handle trauma in my life. Is I make it super funny and then I charge people to come hear about it. So, if that bothers you, you should go now, because it's going to get weird. Because some fun stuff happened when I was in 5th grade. There's one lady, yay, dark stuff. Which is a weird voice to hear that. Yay, I like that. So what happened? This country strong man, and I'm in Colorado, I don't have to really explain what that is, but other places I do. They're like the movie? I'm like, no, what? No. No, country strong is like, it's someone that's not like ripped or shredded. They're mostly fat, but it's the strongest person you've ever seen in your whole life. They fight like this. I learned from cartoons, I've never lost. You just hear them say stuff like, Daddy got the tractor stuck, so I had to pull it out. Well, Country Strong decided to do all the cocaine he could find in our little county. And as I get older, I realized that was probably not mostly cocaine. We were in the middle of Tennessee, which is a landlocked state. Not a lot of direct flights from Columbia. Hell, it could have just been fiberglass and lightning bug juice. You know what I mean? A little Kodiak for taste. So he did all of it. And I don't know if you guys have ever done cocaine, but you're here. So I assume you've smelled it. You know, when you do cocaine, it motivates you to do the worst thing you've ever wanted to do. And you're like, tonight's the night. I have the confidence. Let's do it. Yeah, this is a great idea. Yeah. How can this go wrong? Let's do some more. Well, that dude, Country Strong, he's like, you know, I've always wanted to do a murder, you know? It's in there. I'm going to do it tonight. So he showed up at the party. He found a little dude because he's not dumb. He went over and he picked him up and he started strangling him. And the dude was just dangling. And people at the party were like, stop it. He was like, I got it. Like, you're killing him. Yeah. Stop. Okay. And then my cousin had a gun at a party that never gets a laugh anymore. Whole country just looks at me like, mm-hmm. Man had a party pistol, what about it? Well, my cousin pulls out his party pistol. He's like, hey, stop. And he's like, I got it. I was like, I'm gonna shoot you. And he was like, I was here first. So my cousin shot him in the shoulder, in the back, and that will make you stop killing who you're killing. But what it also does is gives you new motivation and a new target to do murder to. Because he just turned around, old Country Strong, and just made a beeline for my cousin, and my cousin shot him twice in the chest. That will kill you every time. The first one, you're like, hey. Second one, you're like, got me. My cousin tried to perform CPR, but, it didn't work. So the guy died. I told you in the beginning what happens. Every time I tell this, people get sad right there. And I'm Tarantino the hell out of this story. And tell you in the beginning what happened. And still you guys are like, oh.
Me and the ex, we were fucking serious, man. We were talking about whether or not we wanted to get married. Clearly not. What happened was her little 4-year-old niece just walked up to me in Disneyland in front of her whole entire family and just went, "Why won't you marry my aunt?" I know, it was like, "Hey kid, shut the fuck up." I didn't actually say that. I love her. She's the greatest. But I couldn't tell her the truth, I couldn't be like, "Well, your aunt's been married before and she's still working through some shit spiritually, so pretty much it's on her at this point." So the truth, it was scary because we had both been married before, so we both knew how hard it was, and we both knew how much a fucking wedding cost. This is totally true. Average cost of a wedding in New York City, where I'm originally from, $60,000. Yeah, you guys know $60,000, right? Like the amount of money I made in my 20s if we round up by $37,000. $60,000. This is why I feel like young people shouldn't be allowed to get married. Or not that young people shouldn't be allowed to get married, but you should have to be married like 5 years before you can throw yourself a wedding. Because like young people don't know what to do with money. Young people are like, "We'll be fine." Old people are like, "No, you won't." Like if you ask any older couple who's been married for more than 5 years if they were throwing themselves a wedding, "Hey, do you want to spend $10,000 on appetizers?" They'd be like, "You can go to hell." Because older couples know nobody gives a shit about the appetizers at your wedding. Like people only care about one thing at a wedding, and it's not your love, it's the open bar. You could have 6 kegs of beer and some Totino's pizza rolls, and people would still be like, "This is a pretty good wedding." I also feel like you should have to go on your honeymoon before you get married. That's something I believe. I think you should have to go on your honeymoon. Some people say live together before you get married. I think honeymoon. Because if you can't get along in Hawaii, you're sure as shit not gonna make it in Cleveland. And also, by the way, no more destination weddings. I'm out, I'm done. I'm not renewing my passport to watch you make a mistake. And also, by the way, if you do have a destination wedding and you get divorced in the first 5 years, we're all getting refunds now. And you're flying us to your divorce, and you're having it somewhere fun like Acapulco. My idiot Guido cousin, and I say Guido in the meanest way possible. And if you don't know what a Guido is, it's just a dude who's covered in hundreds of tattoos of Jesus bleeding. He'd be like, "Hey Sal, what's the last religious thing you did?" And he'll be like, "What are you talking about? I just gave up fingering for Lent." All right, peace be with you, buddy. Patron saint of meatballs, that guy. On his Scarface wedding, he spent $180,000. Yeah, $180,000 so his bride could feel like a princess for the day. When for $180,000, she could have became the actual Queen of Detroit. Very cheap property there. $180,000, and I don't even remember that much about that wedding. Isn't that crazy? Or I remember 2 things. There were giant marble staircases she had to walk down before we could eat, and there were piles of cheese stacked up like blow. Like so much cheese, if anyone ate all this cheese, they wouldn't shit for 3 years. Isn't that crazy? I went to a wedding that cost as much as 7 Kia Souls. All I remember, stairs, cheese. That's it. That's fucked up. Like, that's nuts. They spent $180,000 on a wedding. Only thing they had to show for it at the end of that wedding was a photo album of them spending $180,000. Once again, this is why I feel like young people shouldn't be allowed to get married. Because if that was any older couple, if you gave any older couple the option between you could have a photo album to remember this day for the rest of your life, or you could afford a stackable washer and dryer. Yeah, there's not an old couple. There's not an old couple who isn't like, give me the fucking Whirlpool, baby. A mother of three would kick her own pastor in the pussy for in-unit laundry. But young people are like, no, we need that photo album. We need to remember this day for the rest of our lives. Bullshit. I've been married. I'm divorced. I got one of those photo albums. I'm not doing shit with it. But I know what I'm gonna do with it. I'm gonna Photoshop my new girlfriend's face on top of my ex-wife's face. Yeah, and then when I propose to her, I'm gonna give her that photo album and be like, hey, I just saved us $10,000. I got divorced. I got divorced for the main reason most people get divorced. I picked wrong. Yeah. I went with opposites attract. Yeah. Opposites also fuck a bartender named Craig. So. Oh, do you guys think I fucked Craig? I didn't fuck Craig. I could have though. Don't get weird about it. I like to think of Craig's dick as like the iceberg on the Titanic. It got me off the ship. Also, by the way, if you're in here and you're in your 20s and you're thinking about getting married right now, don't fucking do it. Statistically, people get married in their 20s versus people who wait till their 30s don't make it. Like, let's put it this way. If you bought an unframed poster in the past decade, you're not ready to be married. You're not responsible enough to be part of a joint checking account. This is totally true. On my honeymoon, I bought a Nirvana t-shirt. I could have just told you that and you would have been like, divorced. Also, by the way, if you're in here in your 20s right now and you're thinking about getting a tattoo, don't fucking do it. Your taste, much like the person you're here with now, gonna change. Like when I was in my 20s, I wanted to get a Dave Matthews Band tattoo. Yeah, now as an adult, I know I don't like Dave Matthews Band. I just like being drunk outside.
I get really nervous in public space. Whenever especially when I'm with my kids, because you can't control public space and how it affects them. I want everything to be like, that's why there's nothing better than an empty playground. There is nothing better than an empty playground. Because you've got public space privately. You've got something for nothing, it's free. And I'm just in the playground the other day with my kids, Donnie and Margot, and they're playing shop. Ice lolly, and then money, and it's just so beautiful. And feel like you're getting something for nothing. And just then, this other dad comes in. And just, immediately rigid. And he immediately shoots me the other dad in the playground eyes, going, we're dads, aren't we? Oh, here we are being dads again on a Sunday as well. Who'd have thunk it? Oh, God, being a dad again. I mean, we don't resent our kids, but we do have other interests, don't we? Oh. Did you see the football? I love that sport, actually. And ales. I'm staring at him thinking, you are a fuck pig. Also, he's a performative dad. Everything about him screams being a dad. I'm a dad, actually. The thing about me is I'm actually a dad. It's a word. Words are obsessed over. It means nothing. It's actions that are important. What's the word dad to me? The word dad is just an accolade I use in bars to try and fuck people. Yes, it does. And also, he's like pushing the pushchair, but the kid next to him, the kid's walking, this little 5-year-old thug. And I hate other kids in the playground as well, possibly unreasonably. Because either my kid is gonna hurt his kid, and then I've got to do that like awkward parental redistribution of justice thing where I just deck my kid. And go, it's okay, I've decked him for you. Avery can stop crying now. Either that or his kid is going to hurt my kid. And then, this happened the other day. This kid was just shoving my kid in the bully bit. Fucking shoving him. Kid called Innes. Ugh. And when that happens, you just lose all sense of proportional response, all sense of the size difference between you and your enemy. And I didn't know what I was going to do, but I leant down to this guy and went, if you do that again, I'm going to break your heart. And I don't think I meant in an emotional way. I think I meant in a cardiac way I was going to do that. He had in the buggy, instead of having the baby, he had this boom box. Like an old, wireless, 90s Brighton Beach boombox that was foghorning out this favourite 90s garage. And I'm in kind of rigor mortis going, oh my God, I'm going to have to deal with this guy. Oh my God, I can't believe it. I know how to deal with that when it's on a bus. I know the cheat codes. What you do is you see somebody sitting down at the back of the bus, and if they're playing their music out their phone, boom shaka attack, Andy C. Phyllis Gibber ride the attack. You don't make eye contact, but you do walk through the bus and you sit down next to them. And then you wait for about 30 to 45 seconds. And then just go. Her name is Rio and she dances in the sand. Oh, Rio, dance across the Rio. I'm so sorry, was that disturbing you? It's quite a funny bit if you ignore the absolutely massive class elements involved. They are there, now you think about it, aren't they? And I say, sorry, I can't really, could you turn it down? I'm finding it hard to survive. And he goes, yeah, oh, you don't like the music? You don't like the music? Yeah, the parents in the playground, they tend not to like the music. They say, oh yeah, you wouldn't turn it down. I say, I didn't put the music on. The little boy puts it on. If you got a problem, take it up with the little boy. I'm just standing here. He's the boss. He put the music on. If you got a problem with the music, take it up with him. And I go, nice. Loophole, very strong, okay. You know, my kid, he just shits himself and then does nothing about it for just hours. It's almost as if he hasn't socialized properly and needs, I don't know, parenting or something. Honestly, swanning about. I'm a good dad. What? You don't know that? I don't know. I think I'm a good dad, but I'm very skeptical of the idea that I'm a good dad because it's in my interest to believe that I'm a good dad. Life's so much better for me when I believe that I'm a good dad. You should always be skeptical of things that it's in your interest to believe. Surely. I realized the other day I would die for my son. It's a nice moment. When you realize that you would die for your son. I was sitting down on a couch next to him. We were watching Ratatouille, so I already felt fabulous. And I just thought, oh God, what if a gunman came in right now and just went, which one of you two? Now! Which one of you goes, which one now? I would just go, that's an easy one, sir. Me. Kill me. That's easy. Ask me a hard one, okay? I will die, obviously. I'm happy to do that. And I realized that about myself and thought, good for me. I don't think I'd die for the 1-year-old. Skin, innit? I think I would die for the 1-year-old, but I would do it a lot more grudgingly. He comes in and goes, which one of you two? Now! One of you has to go, which one now? Me, obviously, but fuck! Seriously? seriously, we're gonna die for that? For what? What? Okay, wait. Hey, okay. Hey, Margot. Shh. Hey, what's your favourite memory? Exactly! Okay, come on, get it over with then. Enjoy your life, Margot. And I'm trying to make conversation with this guy in the playground. I'm so very distracted by the fact that he's wearing Brothel Creepers deep blue jeans, one of those Corbin Run DMC t-shirts, a velour red jacket with a hammer and sickle badge in the lapel from Stalin's Red Army, and a fez. And I can't talk to him at all, really, without thinking about all of these things. And eventually he goes, how are the nights? And as soon as somebody starts talking in those sort of borrowed expressions, meaningless shit, you don't really want to know. You just want to get through. Like, how are the nights? You ever wish that you could just bleed on command? Somebody goes, how are the nights? You just go, yeah, fine, thanks. 2 tears of blood rolling down. Good. Whenever anybody asks me how are the nights, the only way that I can sort of mentally get through it is to answer it with the soulful commitment and rigorous honesty of an 1860s Russian novelist. But as if I'm talking about my favourite biscuit. So he goes, how are the nights? And I respond, yeah, fine, thanks, nights are fine. The hardest part for me about parenting is the constant intrusive grief fantasies I have about them dying. I imagine it's just one of them and it's my fault, And I don't really trust myself to love the other one, so I've lost both, essentially. And me and the mum, we tried to get back together to try and sort of salvage some semblance of something good to come out of the situation, but we could never truly engage with each other because whenever we talk to each other, we can always see the kind of regret and devastation pooling in liquid at the bottom of each lid of our eyes. So we cease to be able to communicate, and obviously I hate myself, and that manifests itself outwardly, and I become quite abusive, emotionally, but it still counts though, doesn't it, famously? And eventually I move away, far away from the family, and I isolate myself because I don't feel like I can love or that I deserve to be loved. So I lose all sense of hope and purpose, and I become a monster. What's yours called?
You are a good-looking crowd. Everyone's so attractive. I'm just going to flirt with everybody the whole time. Because what comedy needs is a female predator. How's everyone's pandemic going? Good? A lot of people were talking about how 2020 was really bad for mental health, and I was like, great for me. I didn't have to see my family for a year and a half. The holidays didn't happen, which was a blessing for all of us, because we didn't have to see any of our friends and their families in matching pajamas. Anybody do that? I don't understand it because I'm a Jew. Are there any Jews here? Fucking yes. We've got industry. Perfect. I am in the market for an agent. The whole matching pajama thing, my friends do that with their family, and I'm like, I don't get it. And they're like, what's not to get? I'm like, I'm a Jew. We don't do matching pajamas. The last time we did, it did not end well. It's bad. My ancestors are rolling over in their graves over that one. They're mass graves. Oh my God. Oh. That last one's a little bit of a slow burn. How many Holocaust jokes does she have? 6 million, you guys. 6 million. Some people deny that I even have Holocaust jokes, so. Thank you very much. I'm a pretty messed up person, as you can tell. And that's mostly because of my mom. All moms are crazy, but my mom is a next level of crazy because she's a nudist. Anyone have a naked mom at home? No mommy titties? No mommy titties growing up? Yeah, that was a big one for me. Very naked all the time, and when you have a naked mom who's naked all the time and does everything naked, it gets weird when it comes time for you to get your ass beat, okay? Very hard to dodge a punch and two titties, you know? It's like fighting an octopus, really. It's like, do you bob? Do you weave? You know, you slip that punch and then the titty just hooks you. I had no idea my mom was a southpaw. It was kind of crazy. Speaking of titties, where my big boobies at? Wow, we got not a lot of titties here. I'm a big fan of boobs. I love boobs. This is a padded bra from Forever 21. Because my boobs are Forever 14. Big boobs are the best. I don't care if you're gay, straight, male, female, or whatever else we have. You're never gonna see a big set of titties coming down the street and be like, Frown Town. Those are a bummer. No, you see big titties and then they're joyful. They're just, you just want to curl up with them. I hate it when girls with big boobs complain about it. Is anyone complaining about it? I hate it when there's just ungrateful pigs out there in the world. Those horrible women who are like, oh, my back hurts. I'm like, all right, well, go lay down, Erica. Save some attention for the rest of us. And then they're like, no, you don't understand. It's so annoying. Guys never listen to what I'm saying. And I'm like, what did you say? Nobody cares. While we're on the topic of boobs, I just want to get this out of the way. Motorboating, guys. We need to stop it. Sir, have you ever motorboated someone? Absolutely. You're a real jerk, just so you know that. I don't understand where men got the idea to do this. Like, why? What are you trying to accomplish? Just so you know, never in the history of womankind has one woman said to another, oh my God, Jenny, you are not gonna believe what Jim did to me last night. He took his face, he put it between my breasts, and then he blew bubbles. Oh my God, I had no idea my sternum had a clit. But there I was, just squirting all over the place. Best orgasm I've ever had. That's never happened, guys. No woman wants that. And also, you definitely can't motorboat me. You'll bottom out on the lake bed. Have you bottomed out on a lake bed before, sir? Yeah, man, boobs are great. Women are just kind of magical. Boobs, no boobs, we're just kind of magical, mystical creatures, and I really love that about us. Thank you, thank you. I was really pandering to the women in the audience, so thank you, I appreciate that. I think we're like witches, and I mean that in the best way possible. Because if we're not witches, then can you explain to me why if we spend more than 1 month together, we all get our period at the same time? That's like witch shit. It's not like we discuss it. It's not like I'm like, Erica, Renee, Becky, on 3, let's bleed. There's no discussion of it, ever, never. But like right now, at this very moment, every single lady body in the room is sending out an Underground Railroad message to every other lady in the room. It's like, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do. Right now, our uteruses are just reaching out for each other, joining hands. And they're like, Red Rover, Red Rover. Don't send anyone over. Unless they have dark chocolate. Like, that's witch shit. That is witchery, you know? What happens if men spend a month together? What, you start a fantasy football league? Yeah, we make people inside our body. That's fucking magical. I love it when men are like, we're 50% of the equation, and I'm like, you're bad at math. Oh, you show up to a cookie making party with a stick of butter, and we have the rest of the ingredients and the oven to make the cookies. Maybe just like pump the brakes with your condiment. It's melting, I'll leave you with this, speaking of a melting condiment. There's this awful rumor going around that pineapple is supposed to make a man's taste better. I'm trying to do this joke without saying the word cum, but cum. Have you heard this rumor? It's a horrible rumor. Rumors are started by people who directly benefit from them. And I've thought long and hard about this one in particular, and I figured out who came up with this rumor. It was the CEO of Dole Pineapple. 1 quarter, sales were down, and he was like, big meeting, corporate meeting. He's like, what are we gonna do, guys? What are we gonna do? There's a creepy guy, Joe, in accounting. He's like, I have an idea. Joe got fired, but they ran with it. And just so you know, the only way a man's cum is ever gonna taste better because of pineapple is if it's literally served on a piece of pineapple, and then we brush it all off. And then we throw it on the ground because we don't want to swallow any more of your lies.
I've had to move a few times in New York, though. One time because of bed bugs. Have you guys had them? Bed bugs are aggressive. They just attack you until you break your lease. There's no way to stop bed bugs. I think that's my message here tonight. I did figure out a way to slow them down, though. I introduced ladybugs into my apartment. Now, the ladybugs don't kill the bed bugs, but they wear them down emotionally. That joke does good with about half the crowd. The other half doesn't like it so much. I put that joke on Twitter. I got attacked worse than I got attacked by bed bugs. But I'm just moving in now, and you guys are looking at me like, Mike, you're a sweet piece. How are you not married? And the answer is because I went through a lot of breakups. When I break up with a woman now, never pleasant, I like to do it at a restaurant because I feel like it's a public place and she will not cause a scene. Can I share a secret with you guys? The women of today will yell at you right in a restaurant. So you know what I do now? I take her to a Chinese restaurant. That way, if she yells at me, it just seems like she's working at the restaurant. I'm sorry, is that joke too sweet and sour for some of you guys? I didn't mean to ruin your happy family, which is another delicious entree. I just think it's really bad dating from your phone because there's no compromise. If you don't like someone, you just swipe them away, and you get rid of them. Back in the day, we used to have to compromise. I went on a phone date before I met my girl. First thing the woman said to me, I'm a vegan. I'm a vegan. Is that the first thing we should be saying to each other? How about your name? What's your favorite color? I'm a vegan. I'm a vegan. So I go, look, I'm on the keto diet. All I eat is meat. We're on opposite ends of the dietary spectrum, but there's a chance to what? Compromise. We did not go down that road. Because then she goes, I won't even eat food that has touched meat. And then I go, I only eat emotional support animals. You want to keep playing this game? We can keep playing this game. Now, when you move in with your significant partner, which is what Twitter makes me call my girlfriend now, it's funnier than what you guys gave it. When you move in with your significant partner, You have to talk about what you value in an apartment. And she went first. She goes, we really need a doorman. And I go, why? She goes, for protection, in case someone is trying to get us. I go, what are you into? I've been living a pretty Judeo-Christian life without many enemies on the streets. I don't know what you're into, where you need protection. She goes, we just need a man to protect us. I go, well, I'm a man who could technically protect us. She goes, yeah, but you're not a doorman. And it occurred to me, she doesn't know what a doorman does because she's from rural Indiana. The closest thing they have to a doorman in rural Indiana is a scarecrow, which is like the doorman of the crops. I go, you understand, this is a doorman. His functions are as follows. He opens and closes the door, and sometimes he takes packages. But he's not a Navy SEAL or a ninja. He's a doorman. I'm vaccinated, and I'm telling you that because I want you to know I'm a hero. I got the one that gives you blood clots. I got the blood clot one. I got the one that gives you blood clots. I used to say Johnson & Johnson, but before I would get to the second Johnson, whoever I was talking to would go, blood clots. You have the blood clot one. You have the one that gives you blood clots. So now I just save everybody time. And I go, blood clots. I have the blood clot one. I have the one that gives you blood clots. But it's gonna work to my advantage because New York City, where I live, is getting increasingly violent. And I figure if I get shot in the street, I won't bleed out. They'll be like, you know what saved this guy? Blood clots. He had the blood clot one. He had the one that gives you blood clots. I am gonna miss some things about the pandemic, though. For example, having my temperature taken like I'm being executed. Remember that at the restaurants? You wanna see our menu? You wanna see our menu, don't you, huh? You wanna look at our specials? It's aggressive, you know? I didn't feel safe. I started carrying my own thermometer around with me for protection. That's my Second Amendment. That's my Second Amendment. I got the right. So they'd be like, you wanna see our menu? I'd be like, what's up now, dog? How you doing? No, you need to give me your email. No, I'll take your email in case I have to track you like a little baby wolf. But I say the pandemic's been different for everybody. It's been harder on all of us in here, I would say, just looking at you guys. That's not a slam, guys. It's harder on all of us because we all had to wear masks, and I wore a mask, you know, whatever was required. But harder on all of us, I would say, because we're all good looking. And when you wear a mask and you're good looking, people can't tell that you're good looking. And it's terrible. As attractives, we're used to being treated a certain way all of our lives. But because we had to wear these masks, people couldn't tell that we were attractive. And it was terrible. Example, height of the pandemic, I'm in Starbucks, mask up for safety reasons. Woman behind the counter starts talking to me sideways. I had to stop her. I go, excuse me, miss? I'm handsome. You can't talk to me that way. You can't talk to me that way. You're talking to me like I'm an ugly, and I'm not an ugly. Actually, miss, I'm an attractive. You want me to prove it? I'll take my mask off and kill everybody in here with my tiny vapors. Is that what you want? You want me to kill everybody with my tiny vapors? I'm an attractive. Because I'm just talking to you guys right now, you know? Other attractives. No disrespect to the people out there. But the uglies have had a good run. They really have, walking around, masks up, pretending to be us. And now that this thing is winding down, they're looking for any excuse to keep their masks on. I hear them talking. It could be a variant. It could be a variant. I'm like, cut the crap. It's not a variant. You had a good run. Stop trying to be us. Get a skill, you know? That's the way you gotta talk to them sometimes. You gotta go get a skill. But there's extremes on both sides of this, you know? Height of the pandemic, outside of my building in New York, there's a woman. She had 2 masks and a face shield on. Outside. And that's fine, you know, whatever, but where is this going, you know? You throw wipers and a turn signal on her, she's a car. Maybe that's where this goes. Maybe we evolve into tiny cars. Then I got a friend in Florida doesn't believe any of this is real. He just makes up his own facts. He goes, it's all fake, Mike. It's all fake, you know? He goes, what are the deaths, 1 in 400? He goes, Mike, do you know 1 in 5 Floridians gets decapitated by their own ceiling fan? I go, what? He goes, that's real talk, Mike. The mainstream media isn't gonna talk about that. 1 in 5 Floridians decapitated by their own ceiling fans. It's Game of Thrones down here, Mike. We're getting murdered by our own appliances. And then he goes, Dr. Fauci is a chiropractor. He always takes a shot at Fauci on the way out. Dr. Fauci don't make his own spaghetti sauce, Mike. What kind of Italian don't make his own gravy, Mike? What else is he not telling us? Thank you. I probably should have used barbecue sauce for you guys here because it's more applicable. I'll be happy to never take another COVID test again, because the healthcare professionals, while heroes, can be quite aggressive. Bedside manner went out the window about halfway through this thing. Last time I went in for a COVID test, the woman said exactly nothing to me. Went and got a swab. I think it was a swab, could have been a screwdriver. If I'm being honest, it felt like a Phillips head. And she must have played college softball, because she came from back here. And just boom, dry docked me. Hit my frontal lobe. I lost my sense of direction for like a week. Afterwards, I looked at her, I'm like, is this even about COVID? You just seem angry. And it feels like you're using COVID to get a lot of your frustrations out. COVID-19, let's do a deep dive, guys. What do we know about COVID-19? Well, we know it came from China, so we know it works. Italy got hit hard, but I think it's because Italy was trying to treat it with recipes. Nice try, Italy, but not helpful. Who do I blame? Is that what you guys want to know? The people who wanted to get rid of straws. Remember those heroes? We got to get rid of the straws. We got to get rid of the straws because the straws are killing the turtles. So fine, we got rid of the straws. But then we started putting our mouths on everything. We started raw dogging everything with our mouths. And then we all got the coronavirus. And then we started dying. And did the turtles help us? No, they didn't, guys. They were conveniently quarantining in their shells. Probably mumbling slurs about us, you know? Turtles are really old. Do you guys need more time with these jokes, or are you gonna get them?
9 hours after my child was born, he started twitching. And I got scared. I asked the nurse what was going on. And he's like, don't worry about it. He's just having a nightmare. A nightmare? He's 9 hours old. What on earth has happened during the first 9 hours? What, was he ripped out of the only place he knew as home and thrown into a land of bright lights and giants with no guarantees of food safety or shelter, with no real understanding of why he exists? And to be perfectly honest, the giants that run the show don't know why they exist either, you know? They're just hamsters running around a wheel, and all they know for sure is that they're cogs in capitalism, you know, a system they cannot destroy. So what are you twitching about? The nightmare begins now. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, life is terrible. Thank you. that was the lesson in that particular joke, yes. My mom told me that she heard when babies that small have nightmares, it's because their soul is remembering its previous life. And I don't know why she told me this. Why are you telling me that my son is possessed by a spirit with PTSD? So my child's just like, my wife, where's my wife? Oh my, I'm a baby? When did this happen? What'd I miss? Oh my, did Vesuvius explode? My parents are immigrants from India. As you can imagine, stand-up comedian was not their ideal job for me when they left everything behind. They did not come to this country praying, please God, give us an overeducated clown. This wasn't the hope. And I get it, right? They took big risks coming to this country. They don't want their kids taking risks. But here's the thing, what kind of risk am I really taking? As immigrants, they took the risk. If they failed in this country, they would have went back with nothing. That is a tangible risk. As a stand-up comic, what risk am I taking? If I fail at stand-up comedy, I simply land on the safety net that was created by my hard-working immigrant parents. And is that not the American dream? To be successful enough where your piece of shit kids survive even if they don't deserve to? Some of you like that joke. Some of you too close to home? I get it. My father took huge risks coming to this country, man. My father came to this country looking for a job with a degree in botany. A bachelor's degree in botany. And guess what? He couldn't find any botany jobs because it wasn't the 14th century when that was a new field. And he missed the plant rush of 1749. My mother took even bigger risks because she also left everything behind because she married some dude with a botany degree. I feel for my parents, man, now more than ever. It must have been so hard for them. They're immigrants, they're raising American kids. What do they know about American culture, you know? They struggled, they screwed up a lot, but they tried. You know, I remember this one year, me and my brother really wanted a Christmas tree because a lot of our friends had Christmas trees. We'd see Christmas trees in movies and on television. I should let you know at this point, I'm a Hindu, or as it's pronounced in America, Muslim. The fear with that joke is there might be someone who's like, hey man, why did he say Muslim twice? Is he a double Muslim? I don't... Anyway, Christmas trees. So, me and my brother really wanted a Christmas tree. We're begging for this tree. Finally, my parents get us the tree, but they don't know they're supposed to buy presents and put them under the tree. They think we just want the tree. Dad's excited. Oh, the boys love botany. No idea. He has no idea. We look under the tree early Christmas morning. Me and my brother are like, no! Santa's racing! Kris Kringle, that's 2 Ks right there! My mom and dad are obviously very excited about having a grandkid. I believe my mom's exact words were, this makes up for a lot. I believe I got that right. My father is elated. My dad was over the other day, and my son ran headfirst into the coffee table, and he got this gash above his eyebrow, and it was bleeding. And it wasn't that bad. We still have custody. But my dad started crying, and I'm like, Dad, he's a baby. You know how this works. Kids get hurt, they bounce back. That's part of growing up. You know this. And my dad's like, Hurry, you don't understand, okay? As grandparents, our grandkids are more important than our actual kids. Now, it does not surprise me that he believes this. There have been some clues. He tells my son he loves him every single day. You know the first time my father told me he loved me? 2012. And that's because he was having a heart procedure. And as they were wheeling him away, I guess he wanted to get one in just in case. I love you, Hurry. Dad, don't say it, Dad. I was fine with your steadfast indifference. Thank you for tolerating me, Father. Picking a name was, of course, difficult, right? I wanted like a strong Indian name that like could be potentially pronounced in this country. You know what I mean? So I asked my mom for suggestions, and she's like, have you thought about Vishwanathan? No. That did not make the short list. Okay, how about Shatrughan? Vikramaditya? Giridhar. Giridhar? Giridhar. You don't think Americans can pronounce Giridhar? Americans can't pronounce Hurry. What are you talking about? I'm just trying to find a name for my kid that maybe doesn't involve him using a mnemonic device so people pronounce it right. Some of you who don't have Judeo-Christian names know this. You need to come up with some sentence, right, to explain how to pronounce your name to people, right? My name is Hurry. It's like hurry with a ha. It's not that good, man, but it's not really that effective. It's what I got. Well, that's funny. You're a comedian. Yeah, no. My best friend Juthin's is, my name is Juthin. Rhymes with nothing. Which is just, that's sad, man. It's sad. It messes with your self-esteem, something like that, you know? When you think of Juthin, think of nothing. It's just sad. It's sad. My dad's is the worst, man. My dad's is, my name is Ravi, like ravioli. You can't mispronounce the second word, Dad. Dad, you're just gonna confuse people. Ravioli, is that an Indian thing? What is that? I want to be sensitive, I just don't know. A lot of men like to name their sons after themselves, which I never quite understood, you know, like naming a kid like a sequel, you know? Just never felt creative to me. I would never do that unless my kid's name was like Hurry Kundabolu, too fast, too furious. Like, otherwise, what's the point, you know? It's unfair to name a kid like a sequel, man, because what do people say about sequels, right? Oh, I hope it's as good as the first one. And it's like never as good as the first one, with the exceptions being like The Empire Strikes Back, right? And World War II. The fuck are you, what are you offended by? What are you, World War I survivors? Like how on earth is that offensive? World War II is the better war, we all know this. If World War I was so great, there wouldn't have been a World War II. And I know what you're going to say, but what about trench warfare, Hurry? What about trench warfare? Yeah, World War I had trench warfare. Some people say it was the last real war, but the technology and advancements that came out of World War II affect us to this day, right? As well as such things as the refugee regime, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the Covenant of Economic and Social Rights, and you may disagree with these ideas, but you have to admit, they came out of World War II, not World War I. And I'm so sick of having this argument with audiences every fucking show. Just get off of World War I's dick, okay? Hey, when did this turn into a TED Talk? I would never name my kid after me, mainly because of ego, right? Because I like being the most famous Hurry Kundabolu in the world. And if my son has an amazing life, he might screw that up for me, right? This is important to me. I'll explain why, all right? My name is Hurry Kundabolu, but I signed my name Hurry K. Kundabolu because as a child, my mother told me to keep my middle initial in my name in case there was another Hurry Kundabolu, there wouldn't be any confusion. What I find most disturbing about this is she assumed if there was another Hari Kondabolu, I would have to keep the middle initial in his name. I would be the less famous Hari Kondabolu. My mother thought I was going to be the Michael B. Jordan of Hari Kondabolus.
I just moved. People hate moving. I didn't find it stressful. I really enjoyed it. A couple of guys came around. Big guys, proper blokes, big units, moving men, movers. These guys could really move. I swear to God, they took a shine to me. They liked me. They respected me. They kept calling me Chief. I said, how are you, Chief? I said, me, Chief? I'm a very low status person. Boo! I'm a nasty, nasty cockroach. I'm a Fanook. I'm a Hollywood Finocchio. These are big guys. They were carrying big stuff down the stairs. The fridge, the couch, a box full of 1,400 Bratz dolls. I was helping out, carrying my smaller items, the pedestal fan, my receipts. 3 at a time, bend at your knees. These guys came over, they started squeezing my arms. Look at the muscles on you! I said, stop it, I was giggling. I didn't grow up with brothers. I've got them now. You might not want to mess with us that much. They loaded everything into the back of the moving van. I didn't know much about this moving van. Forgive me, but I never looked into them. I didn't know much about these moving vans at the time. So I gave these guys my new address. And I don't have a car, I don't have wheels, so I said, I'll meet you there. I'll get an Uber. The guy says, an Uber? Yeah, I suppose you could get an Uber. Or you could always ride up front in the van with us. Pick up my jaw from the ground, yes please. Riding up front with my guys, where do I sign? These moving vans, they got a seat between the fellas, this is a stupid fucking crowd. There's a seat between the guys. Are you listening? It's for emergencies. There's a little seat. It's a whisper. It's for a guy. It's for a guy like me. I was crammed in there. I was squished in there. Ooh, they were sweating. I liked it. I still haven't washed my shoulders. I've been licking the build-up of salty brine. We stopped at a servo. I said, I'll grab us all some pesetos. They only had Passiones. The guys didn't care. One of the guys said, a soft drink's a soft drink. How do you reach that level of acceptance and zen? We're driving along, we're hooning down Cleveland. We're setting records on Cleveland. These guys started cracking jokes. Really rude, highly offensive, totally inappropriate, blokey, bawdy stuff. You know what I mean? The kind of stuff where I thought, oh, whoa, you're not allowed to say that anymore. I couldn't help myself. I was screaming with laughter. I said, if this is toxic masculinity, poison me to death. I'll die now. Take me now. Take me now, Anubis. Take me now, Anubis, you jackal-headed bastard. You slobbering lord of the netherworld, I am ready. The new place isn't really working out. It's my fault. I ate a crosket on my bed. Who knew the humble crosket could generate so much debris? I've eaten a muffin on my bed. That was fine. A muffin, that's a soft crumb. That's a soft crumb. That increases the value of the mattress. A crosket, that's a hard crumb. That is a shard. That's 1,000 daggers. I am lying in a savoury Chernobyl. You think you found the last bit of crosket? There's always more crosket. We will never reach crosket zero. You will never sleep again. Nobody told me this stuff. No one sat me down and said, listen, never eat a crosket on your bed. I didn't get an education. The system failed me. All I got was vague advice. Be yourself. I'm a wretch. Never give up. Please. Follow your dreams. They're illegal. I wish someone told me not to see the seal show at the Taronga Zoo. You wasted your time with this? Anyone seen the seal? There's big signs for it everywhere. Seal show this way. It's in a custom-built arena. 1,000 seats, 3 shows a day. I gotta tell you, it's nothing special. This seal show, the seals do a few good tricks. A lot of the stuff I could do, seriously. I could. The seals, they stink. They smell like wet clothes. The seal show is very informative. I would say, too informative. They say these seals don't have external ear flaps, and that's why it looks like they do not have ears. Yeah, that's great. How about you save that for the pamphlet? Don't put that in the fucking show. You built an arena for factoids? And then it gets really depressing really fast. Oh, by the way, all the seals are dying. We've got to save the seals. They're suffocating. They keep mistaking plastic bags for jellyfish. To be fair, we've all made that mistake. Oh my God, there's 5 loose jellyfish in the pantry. I was in the park, I saw this guy walking his dog. He made the jellyfish eat its shit. I hate the seal show. I've been banned from the seal show. I've been banned. I kept going back, trying to sabotage the seals, shining my laser pointer into their eyes. Only 2 people have ever been banned from the seal show. Me and a woman called Francesca Martinez. And that was me as well. Wearing an elaborate disguise, doing a pretty iffy Portuguese accent. I want to be seeing him. I want to be seeing the seal. I lived in England for a spell last year. What a country. I love the royal family. I adore the royals. You know I'm actually in line? Not for the throne, but they said next time there's a royal baby, I can eat the placenta. Imagine the protein in a royal placenta. Gobble it up, eat it up, play for the Raiders. Get strong. Get really strong. That guy's strong.
I was going down Interstate 85 the other day, and I saw a big white van, and on the side of it said Southern Cremations. I thought, what makes it Southern? Do they camp out around the fire? Are the ashes scattered, covered, smothered, and chunked? Is this a Waffle House cremation? And I was having lunch with someone the other day, and all of a sudden she stood up and she said, I'm going to the bathroom, but I'll be back. I'm thinking, do people often go to the bathroom and just never return? Officer, I don't know what happened. She went to the bathroom and never saw her again. And I was working down in Jacksonville, Florida, and I'd gone out to eat. The waitress came over, gave me the specials, and said for a side I could have broccoli or the vegetable of the day. I said, what's the vegetable of the day? She said, broccoli. And then I heard a man sitting at the very next table ask that same waitress if the Alaskan snow crabs were local. She said, I think so. And I was driving home from Birmingham, Alabama one night. It was very late. I went up to the drive-thru at Taco Bell, and I kept waiting and waiting and waiting for someone to take my order, and nobody ever came. So finally I said, hello, And she goes, honey, you're going to have to hang on for a minute. Said, we're changing our drawers. So I think I'll go somewhere else. And every time I'm standing in line at the grocery store, I'll see a headline on a magazine that says, are you tired of belly fat? No, actually, I've gotten attached to mine. I think we're good. And just the other day, I'm sitting in the doctor's office waiting room, and a lady strikes up a conversation with me and starts telling me about a trip she's getting ready to make to Washington. So I said, Washington State or Washington, D.C.? She said, I don't know. And then she continued to talk about her trip, so I'm thinking she didn't understand the question. So again, I said, I'm sorry, did you say you're going to Washington State or to Washington, D.C.? She said, I don't know. She said, wherever the president lives. And her vote counts just as much. But our current president's favorite form of communication is Twitter. He loves Twitter. And I was thinking about what if other presidents had been on Twitter? Like Lincoln. He might have tweeted something like, taking Mary to the theater tonight. Hashtag rather take a bullet. Oh, what? Too soon? I love y'all. Kind, caring, good people who has a sick sense of humor. I have found my tribe. But it's great to be in Chattanooga. I played basketball here. And people are always surprised to find out I play college ball because I'm 5'2", but hey, someone had to pass to the tall girls. And everyone thought I would be tall because in the 7th grade, I wore a size 9 shoe. Even the doctor told my mom, said, oh, she's going to grow. Said, look at her feet. Said, she's either going to be tall or be a clown. I think we know how that worked out. But for my size, I do have freakishly large hands and feet. And I was in the grocery store not long ago, and I ran into someone who knew me from college, and he goes, I remember when that picture came out of you palming a basketball. Can you still palm a basketball? I said, what? I can't open a jar of pickles. It's hard to believe that I was ever an athlete. But I actually tried out for the 1980 Olympics and made it to the final 18. But when they cut to 12, and if you remember, we boycotted that Olympics. And the real reason was President Carter heard I didn't make it, and he said, forget it, nobody's going. So don't cheat me, because I know people. But I do try to stay fit, and I hired a personal trainer. But after I worked out with her a few times, I had to sit her down and explain to her that she had completely overestimated my goals. I mean, I am not trying out for anything. And she kind of got in my face, said, "Go big or go home." I said, "Well, now you have underestimated my desire to leave." Because home is exactly where I'd like to go. But I actually do train pretty hard. I've completed 2 marathons. Thank you. Friends and Big Bang Theory. Back to back. It was exhausting. Do not try it without consulting your doctor. But I do live in Chattanooga, but originally I'm from Cleveland, Tennessee, the Church of God, capital of the world. And I was raised as most people. You're good, you go to heaven. You're bad, you go to hell. But have you ever noticed at a funeral, the person is always in heaven? Don't you think if they're going to threaten us with hell that every once in a while? The preacher would say, "We're burying this guy with a fire extinguisher." And then I think, whoa, I better straighten up. But when I hear Jeffrey's in a better place, and I know this is a great comfort to Mr. and Ms. Dahmer. I think, all right, I'm good, I'm in. But I do take issue with some religious doctrine because the laws are made by man and then they'll just up and change the rules. Like in Catholicism, it used to be a mortal sin to eat meat on Friday. And then one day they just decide that it's not a sin anymore. Well, I'm just guessing, but I bet the appeals court in hell is backed up for miles. Here's this poor guy standing in line behind Hitler. I ate a bologna sandwich. But now, don't get me wrong, I think Jesus is cool, and he was a genius. You know, he's the one that started those marketing pyramids. He got 12 guys, he told them to get 12 guys. And if Moses lived today, he'd be labeled bipolar. Oh, so God spoke to you from a bush, okay? We're going to start you out on lithium. I'll need to see you back here in a few weeks. And if that had modern technology in biblical times, of course, Jesus would have had the most Twitter followers. And he would have tweeted something like, "Meet me on the mount, hashtag fish and bread for everyone." And you know, at some point, all the disciples would have been on a group text. And then suddenly 11 of them would get a notification that Judas had left the group. And I tell you what absolutely blows my mind are these cult leaders and their power of persuasion. Remember that leader of Heaven's Gate? He got 39 guys to castrate themselves. I couldn't get one to help me move. How does that work? Brainwashing is not my gift. But I do travel a lot. But you know, they've just taken all the fun out of flying. You know, the planes are overcrowded. There's no leg room. I can't take my peacock. But anything under 8 hours, and I drive. And I was driving to Charleston, South Carolina not long ago, and my car broke down. And it was very interesting because the garage where they took it had a female mechanic. It was the first time anyone has ever explained to me what was wrong with my car in terms that I could understand. She said, well, first of all, your belts don't match your shoes. All your hoses have runs in them. And it's retaining fluid. I said, girl, sounds like my car's got PMS. No wonder it won't go. It's bloated. It needs to be held. But whether I am driving or flying, it keeps my mother a nervous wreck. I have to call when I leave, call when I get there, call when I get in my hotel room after I look under the bed. And if I am talking to her on my cell phone and I drop the call, when I call her back, she's in a panic. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, well, yeah, I just lost my signal. And she's like, oh, Lord, that scared me to death. I was afraid somebody had knocked you in the head. She's always worrying about that. Don't stop at a rest area at night, somebody knock you in the head. You better lock your doors tight, somebody break in on you and knock you in the head. I'm surprised we don't hear more about that on the news. Last night, 15 people got knocked in the head. One was just talking on her cell phone. But actually, I just got back from Las Vegas. And you know, Tom Jones was also performing out there. And I was amazed to see that the women are still screaming, rushing the stage, throwing their depends. He still got it. And I stayed at the MGM Grand Hotel, and in the room they had posted a sign that said, if you have a gambling problem, to call this number. So I called it. It was a bookie. That's not right. And then later I was out on the strip and there was a homeless guy there begging for help, and I gave him a couple of bucks. And this lady walking by goes, don't give him money. He's just going to spend it on alcohol. I said, oh, well, that's what I was going to do with it.
But since having my little lad, I've had to be responsible. You know, you've got to be a responsible adult, responsible parent. Any parents in? Yeah, it's good, isn't it? It's stressful. It's stressful, not for me, for my little boy. Very stressful being a baby, very stressful. His socks just fall off all day. Just random throughout the day, look down, oh, his socks are off again. Imagine what that would do to you as adults if that was happening to you. Your mental health would be in the toilet if you were going through that. I'm amazed, is it more babies' first words when they learn to speak? What the fuck's going on with these socks? Seriously. It's mad being a baby. My little boy's 13 months old. He's got 3 xylophones. Why does anybody need 3 xylophones? There's professional xylophone players with less xylophones than this kid. I said to my wife, why has he got 3 xylophones? She goes, oh, he likes to play one in the bath. Yeah, of course, it's like some kind of fucking eccentric billionaire. What is going on here? We can put 2 of them away. Surely we can put 2 of them away. It's great, I'm loving having him. We tried for a long time to have a baby, me and my wife. We tried for years and years and years. We didn't think it was going to happen for us, and it nearly broke us up. It was a very difficult time, but he's here now, and it's amazing. His birth was incredible. I'll never forget his birth for as long as I live. There's only a few things that I'll remember vividly forever in my life. One is the birth of my little boy. The other thing I'll never forget where I was when I heard the news that Michael Jackson had died. Now, it was Glastonbury Festival, 2018, which is a full 9 years after his death. I don't know how I missed that. That's on me. That's an oversight on my part. I'll accept that. We started trying in 2016. My wife turned to me on the settee one evening and she goes, Josh, I want to try for a baby. And I said, I want to try for a baby as well. Together? Yeah, perfect. Let's do it. Result. Because we've been together a long time at that point, and we've been together for years and years, and when you get with somebody really young, you can't really imagine what it'd be like to be with them for years and years. I tell you what I mean, we went out for quite a posh lunch recently at a very fancy restaurant, if I do say so myself. And the young guy that's letting us in, he's about maybe 18, 19, this lad, and we hadn't booked, and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This young guy, he looks around the restaurant, he goes, I can squeeze you in, but we'll need the table back by 5. What the fuck do you think we're going to be speaking about for 4 hours in a Las Iguanas? You do your bit, mate. It's back in 15 minutes. Just get us in there. She hates going for food with me. My wife hates going out for dinner with me. She keeps telling me at the minute, right, that I've got ADHD. She keeps saying to me, Josh, you've got ADHD. I think you've got ADHD. I think you should get tested. I think you've got ADHD. Yeah, well, I think that's a very arrogant thing to tell somebody they've got if you're not a doctor. Like, let's break that down for a second. Like, you've told me a story. I've lost interest in that story. And your first thought is that I must have some kind of psychological condition. The arrogance of that. Like, can we maybe work on your storytelling skills before we put me on mind-altering medication? Should we try that first? I'll tell you the truth. I'm not a good husband. I'm not a good husband, I'll be honest. I'm not unfaithful or controlling, but I am incompetent, and that can really break a person over the years. I don't know what this says about me, right? But I'm not my wife's emergency contact. It's not a great sign, that, is it? I just make mistakes. That's all it is. I just make mistakes in our marriage. The worst mistake I've made in our marriage, right, was actually during one of the lockdowns. Now, my wife works in a school. Her favourite dinner in the whole world is beef stew in the slow cooker. Very exotic woman. That's her favourite dinner. One day, she gets up early to go to work. She puts this beef stew into the slow cooker. She goes out to work. She texts me at lunchtime saying, can't wait for this beef stew. Really looking forward to it. Gets in, 5 o'clock in the evening, rubbing her hands together. Can't wait for this beef stew. Been looking forward to this all day. What neither of us realised was that at about 12 o'clock that day, I'd accidentally unplugged the slow cooker so that I could plug in Alexa to ask how old Ronan Keating is. She was fucking livid. She's like, what were you thinking? I was like, I don't know, late 30s, early 40s. He's 47. I've got to tell people. That's one of my favourite things to do, actually, is to listen to music. I take my little boy into the kitchen, we put Alexa on, and we dance to a song until he falls asleep. It's magic. He's a 13-month-old white boy from the middle of England. His favourite song, of course, is In the Club by 50 Cent. You know that one? You know that one? Yeah, you're a fiddy crowd, I can tell. Now, did you know, right, that in that song, 50 Cent is singing, you'll find me in the club, bottle full of bub, as in bubbles, as in champagne. Give me a cheer if you knew that. Yeah. Give me a cheer if you thought it was, you'll find me in the club, bottle full of bud. Yeah, me too. As if that is something that a millionaire rapper would be bragging about. That's right, ladies. Full bottle of Budweiser over here. You want some scratchings? Pretty get some scratchings, don't worry about that. It's when I try and help. That's when it goes wrong for me, when I try and be a good person, when I try and be helpful. I was getting the train recently, right, and the train was early. I was early. I thought I'd get on the train, right? On the train, there's me and one other guy. Now, this other guy, he's blind. He can't see anything at all. And as I've gone past him, he sort of sensed me. He's gone, oh, excuse me, mate, can you show me where the toilet is? I don't know where to go. I'm like, yeah, of course. So he puts his hand on my shoulder. I walk him down to the toilet. It's one of those, you know, like the curvy, like bread bin, like blind date toilets. I usher this guy inside. He immediately starts taking down his trousers and pants. Now, this guy's blind, so he doesn't stand up and piss. It's easier for him if he sits down. What he doesn't know is, though, the door hasn't closed behind him. And there's no button on the outside for me to press it for him. What can I do in that situation there? I don't want to say something and make him feel embarrassed. I can't go in and press the button for him, because I'll be stuck in there with him. I don't want to walk off and leave the guy because he won't be able to get back to his seat. So I end up just standing there. People now start getting on the train. Now, bear in mind, they haven't seen the first bit, have they? They don't know that this guy can't see anything. To them, it looks like I've arrived early to watch a guy shit and that he is completely fine with it. Never help anybody. That's my message. Never help anybody. 2016, we start trying for a baby. 2017, we're loving trying for a baby. It's good fun, good stuff at first. You know how it works. It's good stuff. Got a few apps, and at that point, we could never imagine a world where me and my wife aren't together, so we got together very young. I was single for a little bit before I met her, went on a few dates, hated it. I used to get the ick. Heard of this thing, the ick? The ick's when somebody does something, it just makes you feel funny, it puts you off them. Had it once, right? I was out for a meal with a girl one evening. Halfway through the meal, this girl looks me dead in the face. She goes, Josh, I don't find you attractive. I don't like your personality. And I can see no future with you whatsoever. And I was like, ugh. Do you know what I mean? There was something about that, and I was like, no. No, that's a red flag for me, yeah. That's alarm bells when someone says that. I will pick up on that, and I'll be like, whoa. Even my wife, when I first met my wife, she didn't like me at first. Didn't fancy me one little bit. But I ground her down, and now we're married. And people forget you can do that. Like, that is an option, do you know what I mean? Like, if you like somebody and they don't like your back, don't just give up straight away. Like, don't get weird about it. If you find yourself going through their bins, that's too far, she said. But like my generation especially, we're obsessed with this idea of fate, this notion of fate. Like, you hear it all the time, don't you? If it was meant to happen, it'll happen. But come on. We've got more control over our lives than that, surely. Like, if you're in the supermarket shopping with your kid and your kid wanders off, you go and look for it, you'll be like, guess it just wasn't meant to be. Just carry on shopping. You get back, your partner's like, where's the kid? Just didn't work out. Yeah. Right person, wrong time. We go again, we move forward. We're a great match, me and my wife. We're like yin and yang. That's what I'd say. If you're going to have a baby with somebody, ideally you want it to be with somebody you're in love with, but also somebody that can bring things to the table that you can't bring. I'm quite a negative person. My wife is a very up, happy person. She does not worry about anything. My wife, she's not anxious. She doesn't worry about anything. She goes to sleep at night straight away. Like, we go to bed, her head hits a pillow, she's gone. And it fucking freaks me out. I'm like, have you got nothing you need to reflect on at all? 10 out of 10 today for you, was it? 100%. Okay, you get your head down. Yeah, no problem. No, you get some rest. I'll stay up worrying about the cost of living alone. Don't worry, you get your head down. Do not worry about that. She doesn't worry about the cost of living, doesn't worry about anything like that. This is a fact, right, that sums her up, right? So since the cost of living's come in, I've stopped using the dishwasher so much, stopped putting the tumble dryer on all the time. She has started leaving the radio on for the dog when we go out in case he gets lonely. That's lovely, isn't it? That's a lovely thing, but it's costing a fucking fortune. I wouldn't mind, but he started texting in, entering competitions, and that's what a joke.